tree we're coming up on. This is called the monkey tail tree. All these funky little pink flowers. It's called the monkey tail. Looks like something Dr. Seuss would have thought of. I call it the pipette plant. And over here to the left, you guys, all these little skinny white trees you guys see all over the place. These are all wild coffee trees. So the coffee is like this tree right above this elephant here. It kind of has the wave in the leaf, this oval leaf. That's a coffee tree right there. Right here, we call this the Starbucks of Waipio. You just got to go pick and roast your own. So every little tree, as far as you guys look back, all wild coffee in here. Rock walls we're starting to get into some of the remnants of ancient Wawa village. So these rock walls weren't really affected by that 1946 tsunami that came through. These are beautiful red torch gingers. These ones in front of us and ones to our left. It's an ornamental variety of ginger. Above us is a nice big orange tree right here on the right side. These funky little fruits you guys see, this is called chote, these little fuzzy fruits. This is more of used, so if you see the fruit opening up and those bright red seeds on the inside, they would boil those seeds into water and then use that water as like a dye for tapestries or clothing and things like that. And right here, you see this big tree over here, this like about maybe 20 yards off there in the bushes, that's a mango tree. That mango is probably close to 100 years old, maybe older. And then these beautiful red flowers you see kind of down here by the dam. This is the heliconia. So same family as the bird of paradise, but a little bit different. How to get up here. I know you know the trail. They have treats. No. I'll just keep eating my grass over here. Yeah. Maybe on the way back we can get them to come out. Tree on the left we're coming up on. It's kind of like two trees in one. It's a monkey pod tree with a banyan kind of spider webbing its way around it. So after a while that banyan tree will slowly strangle out that monkey pod and only the banyan will remain. Right now you guys getting into downtown Waipio. So all these homes in this area have the luxuries of phone, power, internet, and they're actually supplied from the cables that lead to this telephone pole and all the way up to the ridge of the valley. If you kind of look behind us, you'll see the two power lines coming down. So this is kind of like the luxurious side of Waipio. This area is called Nawawa. So this was an ancient village as well. But this is where the missionaries had built the school, the church, and the small store in the early 1900s. And there's still some remnants of those buildings up here. If you guys look under this fence line on the left side we're coming up on, you'll notice these two big cement blocks on the ground. So these were the base blocks of the school that the missionaries had built. So if we were here in say like 1920, we would actually be inside of the school right here. And then that 1946 tsunami came all the way back here destroying the school. Here to the right was the place of the church. So the tsunami came through destroying the church, but the staircase you guys see remained. So this family saved the staircase to the original church and built a new home around it. You guys see right here on the right side that little concrete pond where the taro or the kalo is growing. That's right where they did all the baptisms right there. here on the right side, one of my favorite trees in the valley. This is the rainbow eucalyptus. So if you kind of stick your head out the window, it looks like almost somebody painted this tree. Oranges and greens and blues. We call it the rainbow tree. This tree's native to Australia originally. It's a really beautiful tree. Around this house to our left, see all the different types of citrus, lemons, limes, Tahitian limes, oranges, everything. We even have a ring doorbell. Everybody wave hello. So a lot of these lands down here are passed down generationally to these Hawaiians. Every once in a while something will come for sale, so it's not like Hawaiian homelands, but it's such a tight-knit community. If something that does come up for sale, it just gets bought up very, very quickly. And these guys have been working on this house now for about 2 years. And right when they started to clear the property up, they actually found a cave right behind the house. So if you look behind this house, you'll notice this rock wall and a big pile of rocks right in the middle of that rock wall, and that's where the cave was. And they found it was like 15 feet down, and they found bones from about 20 different Hawaiians in it. So when something like that is found down here, they'll call Bishop Museum, which is a Hawaiian cultural museum out of Oahu, and they'll bring down the archaeological crew, kind of carbon date everything, make sure it's not from recent times. But after something like that is found, they'll consider that area kapu or sacred. And so now he's no longer allowed to do any building or excavation on that whole portion of his property where you see that rock wall is.
Were they old?
Were they?
The bones?
Yeah, they were from like 700 AD. So the oldest human remnants ever found on the islands is from 150 BC. But they say settlement wasn't until like when a larger amount of people was about 500 AD when they started to settle. Here you can see the waterfall closed signage, burial grounds, injuries. Yeah. Right here in front of us, you guys, this is Hihilave Stream. So this is all the water coming from that waterfall we just saw. The majority of the people who live down here do have to cross this river in order to access their houses. And this river can come up anywhere from 5 to 10 feet. And it'll happen anywhere from 10 to 20 times a year. So the highest I've ever seen this river, we would be about 2 feet underwater in the day. All groundwater going through here. Well, I always expected the dinosaur to pop its head out of the bushes and start drinking water. Yeah. Go look around in the rocks. All the way back down the valley. We're going to stop right here and get out of the dam. You guys are welcome to come get your feet in the water. See if they're running in the water. And over here to the right is where they used to have the horseback ride. So the trail ride was out of right here. So with the road being closed like 2 or 3 times a week for maintenance and surveying, they haven't wanted to bring all the animals back down yet, just because they have to feed and water every day. So hopefully that'll be back open again soon. Starting to actually get fruits on this mountain apple. So if you guys look up in this tree, you'll see these little green nodules kind of coming off this tree, and this is the Brazilian mountain apple. This apple, it's kind of like a mix between a pear and a crab apple, like a really watery crab apple, but very delicious. And all these vines you guys see growing all over these trees, these are mostly that nice Home Depot house plant, the philodendron vine. So it's very good down here. And this is a beautiful leaf. This is called the ape, the elephant ear alocasia. Beautiful leaf. Also known as the Hawaiian umbrella. If it starts to rain, cut yourself a leaf, good to go. But like that is a plant you'll see in a nursery that'll cost you like anywhere from like $200 to $500. You'll bring it home, it won't look that healthy in about 2 weeks. But a lot of these plants are really nice nursery plants. This tree we're coming up on right here, this is a big avocado tree. If you guys look into the top of this tree, you'll see some monster avocados up there. Yeah, they're kind of hard to see. Yeah, this big tree in the tops, there's a few of them hanging on, the last of the avocado season. Yeah, big avocados up there. So there's over like 60 different varieties of avocados and over like 70 different types of mangoes. And like the main avocados you guys get in the mainland are Hass avocados. And that's because the Hass avocados have like a way thicker skin and they're less perishable. So like if we were to ship you one of these avocados, it would probably be rotten by the time it got to you, just because the skin can't protect the fruit very much. But this green building also right here, you guys, this was the old Waipio Hotel back in the 80s and 90s. So they had 5 rooms in this long house down here and then the main housekeeper's area. Let me know if you guys want to get dropped off on the way out. Hope you brought your bug net. Seed for the next generation. So to propagate, all you do is you chop this off and then you plant it directly back into the soil. And then like I said, you seed it for about 15 hours, mash it into paste. Also, they'll make this thing called fulolo. They take the poi, but they'll add sugar and coconut shavings. And they'll almost like make it into a Hawaiian gelatin bar. It's called fulolo, kind of a sweet version of it.
Well, that has to all be done by hand.
This is all done by hand. All the harvesting, all the growing, and kind of a dirty job for sure. You're playing in the mud all day long. Yeah. But one of my favorite dishes that the Hawaiians make from the taro plants, they use these leaves you guys see, and it's called a lau. So a lau is about 5 or 6 of these taro leaves stacked on top of each other, and inside of those leaves they'll either put a piece of fish or a piece of pork, and then a piece of purple sweet potato, a little bit of Hawaiian salt, and a little bit of coconut milk, and then they'll wrap those taro leaves up and steam them for about 8 or 9 hours. And it's like a Hawaiian tamale. It's so delicious. If you guys see lau-laus anywhere, I recommend eating 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 of them. And the taro plant, there's over 300 different varieties. Some used for eating the leaf, some for eating the root. But most varieties take anywhere from like 6 months to a year to harvest. So quite a long growing season. Yeah, so this rock. A big beautiful bunch of bamboo over here on the right side. Back here, there's no electricity, so when these guys have to set up their properties, they kind of got to make sure to terrace everything correctly. So everything's about a ½ foot step down. So always cycling water from the top right here through the pipe, cycling all the way through all the tiers, then back into the river, always cycling fresh water. It's really funny. This family actually has 2 little goats. They kind of let free range around, and when like the neighbor dog comes running by, sometimes you see them come shooting across his field. They'll jump up in this monkey top tree and climb like 30 feet up here, and they'll be hanging out on these branches up here. White flowers, they're kind of just on the end of their flowering cycle, but these are actually a poisonous flower, this white flower. It's called the belladonna. This pollen of these flowers is like a psychoactive poison that will dilate your eyes. So eye doctors have actually made a derivative of the pollen from these belladonna to dilate your eyes during like when you have to go get your eyes checked. But belladonna means beautiful woman, so in ancient Egypt, women would use this as makeup. They'd flush this white flower across their face and their eyes would dilate. It would make them feel more beautiful, but it's actually very poisonous. If you ingest too much of the pollen, you will end up passing away. It's also known as nightshade. Very poisonous though. If you watch that new show Wednesday on Netflix, this is the flower she's using to poison people. beautiful red flowers in the tops of these trees all over the place that are kind of right up here to our left. That's an African tulip tree. And you'll see them kind of speckled all over, even in front of us. There's those all over the place. They're super pretty, but they're super, super invasive. If you plant an African tulip tree, within like maybe a year, it'll be twice as tall as you are. And they grow very quickly, but pretty. Yeah, they're pretty. Didn't get to see that petroglyph on the way in. It's right in the face of this rock.
Oh, there's a baby right down there on the ground.
Very young one. Is that one of the newborns?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it is one of the newborns.
There's a baby.
That's why she's staring so seriously.
Like, what are you guys doing? Don't come bother me. Yeah, right now a lot of the females are giving birth. Springtime, all the baby cows are being born, all the horses. Earlier today, all the horses were kind of in that opening underneath that monkey pod tree over there. They must have been moving across the river. That might have been them up there. Yeah, but if you hopped in an inner tube right here, you'd be at the beach in about 20 minutes. Unless it was windy, you may end up farther back into them. But these waterways are public waterways, so sometimes you'll see like paddleboarders or kayakers coming up the river. Swarmed by mosquitoes. Gotta do the Hawaiian slide.